Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be diving into the basics of SQL. SQL or Structured Query Language is a programming language that is essential for anyone who works with databases. Whether you are a beginner or have some experience with SQL, this video will provide a comprehensive overview of the fundamentals that you need to know. We will start by discussing what SQL is and why it is important. Then we will move on to the basics of querying data from database using select statements. We will cover the syntax of SQL and show you how to create simple queries that can extract information from your data. By the end of this video series, you will have a solid foundation in SQL that will help you to tackle more advanced topics in the future. So, whether you are a developer, data analyst, or just curious about SQL, this video is for you. Without further ado, let's get started. SQL is a programming language used to manage and manipulate data stored in relational databases. It is a standard language used by many relational database management systems, such as MySQL, Oracle, and Microsoft SQL Server. There are three different types of SQL commands that are available: data definition language, data manipulation language, and data control language. Data definition language commands are used to define the database schema or structure. These commands allow you to create, modify, and delete database objects such as tables, indexes, and views. Some of the common DDL commands include create, alter, and drop. Data manipulation language commands are used to manipulate the data stored in the database. These commands allow you to insert, update, delete, and retrieve data from database objects. Some of the common DML commands include select, insert, update, and delete. Data control language commands are used to control the access to the database objects. These commands allow you to grant or revoke permission to the database objects for specific users or roles. Some of the common DCL commands include grant and revoke. With this, let's get started with the SQL commands. So, as we mentioned in the beginning, SQL is used to deal with databases and tables that are present inside that. So, as a starting point, let us see how we can create a database in SQL. To create a database, the command we can use is create space database space the database name. Here we are going to create a database named my first database. So we can write this command and execute. That will generate the database in the system. So if we go to the left panel where we see the schemas on the navigator, and if we refresh that, we can see a database called my first database is being generated. So in order to use that particular database, we can use the command called use database and execute. So in these two lines, if you notice, there are two different types of text available. One part of the text which is in black color, the other part of the text which is in blue color. The ones that are in blue color are called keywords in MySQL language. So here we have created the database. Now we want to add tables to it. Now it is kind of an empty box. We have just created an empty database. On top of this, we are trying to create tables. So to create tables, the command that we use in SQL is create table command. The keywords here are create and table. Then we are going to create a table named student. Inside the student table, we want to create three columns: student name, age, and place. Based on the data type of the columns. Here student is a character data type, so we mention the data type here as varchar. Age is an integer data type, so we mention the data type here. Place is again a character data type, so we mention the varchar character data type again. So this way, first we will mention the table name. In brackets, we'll mention the column name along with the data types, and then close the bracket. And if we execute that line, we will be creating a table called student. Inside, if you refresh this schema again, inside these tables, we will see a table called student now. And if we expand the columns, we will see that there are three columns: student name, age, and place. So now we have created a structure for the student table. So let's see, if we want to see what is present inside this table, to extract the information from a table, we can use the select commands. So here we are using select star from student because student is our table name. And if we execute that, we will get the output with three columns: student name, age, and place. But we are not able to see any other data points inside the table because we have not added any values. We only created the table with the column names. So a table without any data is not useful for us, right? So we should know how to import or how to add values to the table. To add values to the table, we can use the commands called insert into commands. In this particular example, we have three columns: student name, age, and place. So inside the insert into commands, we will mention the three entries for each row. And if we execute that, these values will be stored in the table. So note down the syntax here. It starts with insert keyword and into keyword, and then we will mention the table name and then the keyword values. Inside brackets, we will mention the column values, that is student name, age, and place. So this will become our first entry. We can execute that. Then we are adding one more row to it. Insert into student values, the second row. So we executed both the lines. So now after executing that, we want to see whether these values are stored in the table or not. How can we do that? We can again use the select command. So we will run select star from student and execute it. So now you will see that there are two rows added here, one for this Rohan, one for this Shruti, right? Because we ran this to insert into commands. That is how we can add values to the empty table that we created before. So now let's learn about few commands which help us to modify the information that is already present in the table. So such commands are called alter table commands. For example, in this case, the student table has three columns: student name, age, and place. Let's say someone asked us to change the column name from place to current location. In order to do that, we can use the alter table commands. And the syntax of that is, first we will mention the alter table and the table name that we want to uh, play with, and then the action that we want to take on this table. Here in this particular example, we want to rename the column place to current location. So this is the syntax for it. So we will select it and execute. So now we have changed the table student, and inside that we change the column place to current location. So we want to know whether this change is happened in the table or not. To see that change, We can again use the select star command, select star from student. If we execute that, instead of place, we will see the third column as current location. Are we good? Yeah. So let's go ahead and see one more alter table command. Let's say later after creating the student table, we decided that age column is not required. So we need to delete that column from the table. For that again we can use the alter table command. So instead of rename column part, we will use the drop and column name. So if we run this entire line again, that will remove the age column from the student table. Let's see how the student table looks like. Here we go. The age column got deleted. So now let's say later we decided that we want to drop the table itself, or we want to delete the entire table. For that we can use the command drop table student. If we execute this, the entire table will be dropped. Now if we come here in my first database, if we click on tables, we won't be able to see any tables because we have used the drop command to delete the tables. So we discussed about how to create a database, how to create a table, how to insert values to it, and once we insert values, how we can modify the table or columns using the alter table commands, and finally how to drop a table using the drop table command. Hope you guys understood the commands. Practice this well. See you on the next video. Thank you.